So this video is about the first camera from which I started my YouTube. Basically, I actually started my YouTube from iPhone. I started making my video from iPhone, but my first video was from the webcam of my laptop. I never uploaded that video, but I made my first video from the webcam because I already had a DSLR and iPhone at that time, but I decided to make it from webcam because I could see what I'm recording, and that's how I gradually, in few days, I moved to iPhone, and then in next few days I moved to DSLR. So this is the first professional camera. This is Canon 600D. This is the first camera which I ever owned, and this is from which I started making my videos for YouTube of good quality. Before that I was using iPhone 6s Plus, and then I moved to this camera. I didn't started from this camera to make my videos because I was not that confident for making videos, because I used to use this camera just for just for photography. I used to click a lot photos, but I have never used this camera for videography before I started YouTube. I used it for almost 4 to 5 months, and then when I was in India last, I bought this mic also to get good quality of audio also, because this camera didn't have that much of good quality of audio to capture, but I'm gonna show you really soon. So with this mic, this camera is really good camera, and so yeah, this is how I started my YouTube. Let me show you guys more briefly about this camera. So guys, here I have my main camera. I have owned this camera for almost 5 years. This is my first professional camera. I cried a lot to buy this camera, and after a few weeks I got this camera. I bought this camera for around 55,000 at that time, and it's a really great camera. I have 3 lenses. This is 18x55, and then I have 75x300. These are the camera which come in the package, and then I also have this Canon 50mm. This is a prime lens, and what this lens does is it gives a really good bokeh effect, and it's a close-up zoom lens, so it's really good for if you are making video, if you want a really close-up video. Let's talk about this camera. So I bought this camera ages ago. I don't even remember what date and what class I was in when I bought this camera, but I started my YouTube with this camera only. Actually I didn't start it with this. I started shooting with my iPhone, but because I was not comfortable shooting with this camera, shooting videos from this camera, because I thought it would be more complicated shooting video from a DSLR. So I thought it will be easier for me to set up my iPhone and then start recording it. But later I thought that I should give a better quality of my videos. Then I started shooting videos from this. I think for starters it gives everything. It doesn't autofocus. It is kind of obvious because the 80D is the camera in lot of the ranges which does the autofocus, and my next camera I plan to buy is Canon 80D, which will replace this camera, but I don't know when I will be buying, maybe after 10 or 20,000 subscribers. So let's see about that. I don't use this for vlogs anymore because it's a heavy camera, and since I told already that it doesn't do the autofocus, so it is not useful for vlogging as much. But I make my most of the videos still from this video because this has an audio jack, which is a very plus. And how I make video from this camera, let me tell you guys. Then I have this mic. This is a dead cat. This is a Rode mic. Nikal ja. So this is a Rode mic, and this is the Rode wire and the Rode stand, obviously. So this is the Rode mic. It feels really good, and the audio is also really crisp. If you might have noticed in few of my videos when I'm making with this is how it gets connected with the camera, and that's it. Now there's no more technicality. The camera is ready to use with a really good audio covering this mic, and then here I have a really good capture from this lens. So that's it about this camera and my setup of how I started making videos and how I still make videos. This is the product which I am using still to shoot my videos, and I think I will be using this camera for almost another 4 to 5 years, and depends if I'm going to continue YouTube for a really long time, then I'm gonna shift to 80D. Otherwise I love this camera because it fulfills all my needs and requirements. By so far it does everything for me. So that's it about this Canon 600D and with the Rode mic. So if you are someone who's looking forward to start a YouTube channel, then you can buy this camera. I guess this camera is no more available because it's an old camera. Now instead of Canon 600D, there is a Canon 700D, which is almost the same camera, but it comes with the touchscreen. This doesn't have a touchscreen, but 700D comes with touchscreen and a bit more of ISO, so you can grab that camera if you are starting a YouTube channel. It is under 30,000 to 40,000, so it's really a good camera, and it also comes with the audio jack just like this one, so you can attach any kind of audio mic as well. And that's it about this video, and I'll see you guys in my another video. Until then, goodbye, see ya.